Hello students, I am Rohini Chogle. Okay, already I discussed about the classical mechanics. In that the definition, types, degrees of freedom, configuration space, virtual displacement, etc. Okay, so today I will discuss it about the generalized coordinates. What it means? Okay, this question will be asked for 5 marks in your examination. This is like a theory type, so better you read it once or twice, then you will understand. Generalized coordinates. Here the mechanical system of n particles free from constraints. Okay, there is the mechanical system of n number of particles. Those particles are free from the constraints. Okay, has a 3n dimensional space. Okay, those are 3D space or 3n degrees of freedom in space. Okay, if there are k number of constraints, see here, there is a mechanical system of n particles. Those are free from constraints having 3-dimensional space or 3n degrees of freedom in space. If suppose there are k number of constraints on the system, then the number of degrees of freedom is reduced to 3n minus k. Okay, now the number of coordinates to describe the motion of the particles in the system also are reduced to 3n minus k. Okay, now the definition. The least or minimum number of variables or coordinates used to describe the configuration of a system are called generalized coordinates. What? The least or the minimum number of variables or coordinates, those are used to describe the configuration of a system. Okay, the minimum number of variables, those are described to those are described the configuration of a system are called generalized coordinates. Okay, now the purpose of generalized coordinates is to eliminate the dependent variable or coordinates in solving mechanical problems. Generalized coordinates are independent coordinates. They do not belong to Cartesian or polar coordinates. What the generalized coordinates are the independent, so they do not belong to Cartesian or polar coordinates. For holonomic system, already you know about the holonomic system. What? The constraints which can be expressed in the form of an equations, those are called holonomic constraints. So for holonomic system, the number of generalized coordinates is equal to the number of degrees of freedom. Okay, already you know that, and hence they are strictly independent of each other. Suppose r1, r2, so on up to rn are the coordinates in old Cartesian coordinates, and q1, q2, so on up to qn are the coordinates in a new set. See here, r1 are old set, q1 are the new set. So for the holonomic constraints, already you know the equation of holonomic constraints. Okay, using this r and q1, vector r1 equal to vector r1, q1, q2, so on up to q3n with respect to t. This is for holonomic constraints. In this, r1 is a old set and q1 is the new set. Okay, so similarly r2, so on up to vector rn equals to vector rn, q1, q2, q3, so on up to q3n with respect to t. Okay, then q1, q2, q3, so on up to qn are called generalized coordinates. Okay, obviously the generalized coordinates are transformation equations from an old set of variables to a new set. Okay, see here the old set, these are the old set and new set. Okay, set of a qi variables where I equals to 1, 2, 3, so on. The inverse transformation of generalized coordinates are, this is rn equal to vector rn, q1, q2, q3, so on up to q3n into t. Okay, the inverse transformation is what? R is replaced by q, q is replaced by r. So qi equals to qi r1, r2, r3, so on up to rn with respect to t, where I is the 1, 2, 3, so on. This is about the generalized coordinates. Okay, now the examples. The motion of a simple pendulum oscillating in a vertical plane can be described in terms of the Cartesian coordinates. You know about the Cartesian coordinates x and y, that is x equal to L cos theta, y equal to L sin theta. Since L is a constant, the only variable involved is theta. It can be chosen as the generalized coordinate. So theta is the generalized coordinate, that is q equal to theta, that is equal to cos inverse x by L. Okay, so here x equal to L cos theta, then theta equal to cos inverse x by L, q equal to theta sin inverse y by L. The second example, the motion of a particle constrained to move on the surface of a sphere of radius a, okay, whose center coincides with the origin of the coordinates system can be described in terms of the Cartesian coordinates x, y and z. These coordinates satisfy this equation x square plus y square plus z square equal to a square, where a is the radius of the sphere. From this equation, it is clear that only two coordinates are independent. It is q1 equal to x by a and q2 equal to y by a. Then we have q3, that is equal to root of a square minus x square minus y square, that is divided by a square. This is equal to root of 1 minus x square minus a square minus y square minus a square, root of 1 minus q1 square minus q2 square. Okay, here we want q3. So thus q3 is not an independent coordinate. Only q1 and q2 are the independent coordinate. This is about the generalized coordinates. Okay, this can be asked for 5 marks in your examination. So better give the description and any one example is sufficient. Now the generalized displacement. Okay, what it means? Generalized displacement. Let us consider a small displacement of n dimensional system vector Ri. System vector Ri be the position vector of the particles, where I equal to 1, 2, 3 so on up to n in terms of generalized coordinates. Already we know that R equal to position vector. We can I equal to 1, 2, 3 so on in terms of generalized coordinates. Generalized coordinates means what? Vector Ri equal to vector Ri q1, q2, q3 so on up to q3 and t for a system free from constraints. Already you know that generalized coordinates free from constraints. The change of position delta Ri. Ri is the position vector. Change of position means delta Ri gives the displacement. In order to find delta Ri, we can use Euler's theorem. So we want generalized displacement means we want delta Ri. So we are using Euler's theorem. Already you know about Euler's theorem in mathematics. That is, if capital X equal to f of x, y, z, then delta x equal to dou x by dou x into delta x plus dou x by dou y into delta y plus dou x by dou z into delta z. Using this equation, we are finding the generalized displacement. Here, capital X equal to delta Ri. We want the displacement. That is equal to f of x, y, z is nothing but vector Ri, q1, qt, so on. F of x, y, z, dou x by dou x means first dou Ri by dou q1 into delta q1 plus dou Ri by dou q2 delta q2 plus dou Ri by dou q3 delta q3 plus so on. This is about the generalized displacement. Nothing else is there. First dou Ri by dou q1 into delta q1 plus dou Ri by dou q2 delta q2. Same. What I wrote? I just wrote the equation using the Euler's theorem. Okay. So now delta Ri equal to say 1, 2, 3 so on up to n terms. That is summation I equals to 1 to n dou Ri by dou qj into delta qj, where delta Ri is called virtual displacement and dou Ri is called generalized displacement. This is virtual displacement and this is generalized displacement. Okay. It may be noted that delta qj gives linear displacement, where qj is a Cartesian coordinates, and gives the angular displacement when qj is an angular coordinate like theta. Okay, this is about the generalized displacement. See here friends, using generalized displacement only we have to find generalized velocity, acceleration, etc. Now generalized velocity. The time derivative of a generalized coordinate qi gives the generalized velocity. What? The rate of change of displacement is a velocity. Okay. Already we know that the rate of change of displacement is nothing but q dot, that is equal to dq by dt. Okay. Next, generalized coordinates. Delta Ri equal to dou Ri by dou q1 delta q1 plus dou Ri by dou q2 delta q2 plus so on. This is what? This means generalized displacement delta Ri. Okay, so rate of change of displacement is only the velocity. So this is delta Ri. We know that velocity means rate of change divided by dt. So 1 by dt equal to delta Ri. Write this delta Ri terms, dou Ri by dou Q1, delta Q1 plus dou Ri by dou Q2, delta Q2 plus so on. Okay. We want the velocity means we have to differentiate these terms. First differentiate this first term, that is 1 by dt dou Ri by dou Q1 into delta Q1. See here, first term, okay, means first term as it is dou Ri by dou Q1, delta Q1 divided by dou t, plus next second term as it is dou Ri by dou Q1 delta T1 delta T. Next dq by dt is q dot, the rate of change of displacement. Here 1 is there, so q1 dou Ri by dou Q1 as it is q1 dot plus say delta Q1 by dou Q1 is 1 dou Ri by dou T. Next similarly second term 1 by dt dou Ri by dou Q2 delta Q2, that is first term dou Ri by dou Q2 as it is delta Q2 divided by dou t, plus next delta Q2 second term as it is dou Ri by dou t into dou Qt, delta Q2 by dou Q2 is 1, so this is 1 dou Ri by dou t. Next delta Q2 by dou t is Q2 dot. Okay, next Vi dot equal to 1 by dt, this term as it is dou Ri by dou Q1 plus dou Ri by dou Q2, dou Q2 into delta Q2 plus so on. Okay, what we got here, 1 by dt dou Ri by dou Q1 delta Q1, this term is dou Ri by dou Q1 dot. Okay, plus dou Ri by dou Q2 dot, take dou Ri by dou t, this as a common. Okay, next the rate of change of displacement is velocity, means delta Ri by dou t is Vi is nothing but Ri dot, that is 1 2 3 means summation 1 I equal to 1 to n dou Ri by dou Qj q dot j, 1 is I equal to 1 to n, so j is just representation, plus dou Ri by dou t. This is about the generalized velocity. So what I discussed, generalized coordinates, generalized displacement and velocity. Next class I will discuss about the generalized acceleration and etc. Okay, this is about the classical mechanics. So thank you.